आया उधर. Okay. Good afternoon, online offline students. So now we are going to start the case study. ठीक है. And today's case study session is about GLOF. GLOF means Glacial Lake Outburst Flood. ठीक है. And we have picked up the incident of South Lonak Lake in Sikkim. South Lonak Lake of Sikkim. ठीक है. So I am drawing a rough diagram of Sikkim here. In Sikkim we have here, यहाँ पे कहीं we have a Kanchenjunga Biosphere Reserve. ठीक है, बहुत बड़ा बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व है. And it is being listed in UNESCO network of biosphere reserves. ठीक है. यहाँ पे कहीं we have a South Lonak Lake, जिसके ऊपर ये केस स्टडी बेस्ड है. ठीक है. एंड हेयर वी हैव अ रिवर दैट इज ला चेन छू. ला चेन छू. और अदर रिवर इज देयर दैट इज ला छंग छू. And both these rivers are confluencing somewhere at a place, and thereafter as it is flowing downwards there is a dam here that is Changtung Dam. Changtung Dam. ठीक है. and it moves downward like this. ठीक है. इसके बाद we have यहाँ पे we have one more wildlife sanctuary that is Singhbha Rhododendron. Singhbha Rhododendron Wildlife Sanctuary. Singhbha Rhododendron Wildlife Sanctuary. Another wildlife sanctuary is here, that is Barse Rhododendron Wildlife Sanctuary. ये भी. ठीक है. यहाँ पे ऐसे ऐसे कहीं भूटान है. एंड हेयर वी हैव अ, ये वाला पार्ट इज चुम्बी वैली दैट इज इन तिब्बत और चाइना. यू कैन से दिस इज चुम्बी वैली. एंड इन फैक्ट जलेप लाप्लास पास, वो सुना ही होगा आप लोगों ने. जलेप लाप्ला पास कनेक्ट्स सिक्किम विद Chumbi Valley, or you can say the Lhasa in Tibet. ठीक है. यहाँ पे एक और जगह भी है that is Bardang, where one of the army personnel went missing. Due to this. ठीक है. वन आर्मी पर्सनल वेंट मिसिंग हेयर. इसको भी दिखाई देता हूं. ठीक है. एंड वी हैव सम फॉल्ट्स आल्सो, लेकिन फॉल्ट मैं दूसरे में दिखा देता हूं, एल्स बहुत हौच पौच हो जाएगा इसमें. ठीक है. यहां से जा रहा है द मेन सेंट्रल थ्रस्ट. ठीक है. हेयर वी हैव अ गैंगटॉक लीनियनमेंट. or I can say the Gangtok fault, and here we have a Teesta fault also. This is called as Teesta fault. ठीक है, बना लो इसको. These are the faults. ठीक है, faults in Sikkim, which is making the Sikkim vulnerable to seismic activities or earthquakes. टीस्टा फॉल्ट, टीस्टा रिवर टीस्टा वाला, उसी के नाम से दिया है. कहां? यूनेस्को नेटवर्क ऑफ बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व्स, यूनेस्को नेटवर्क ऑफ बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व्स. बारडंग के लेफ्ट में है बार से रोडोडेंड्रोन वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी, BR बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, BR इज बायोस्फीयर, WLS वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी. ठीक है, यहां पे WLS लिखा है, वहां पे देख लेना व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी एंड ऑल, वो तो सब पार्ट है एनवायरनमेंट का. चलूं, बनाया. So this is about Glacial Lake Outburst Flood, and basically what is the meaning of GLOF or Glacial Lake Outburst Flood? Like जो lakes हैं that are being fed by the glaciers, like this is the glacier, fine, and somewhere down the glacier we have a lake. ठीक है, and once the water within the lakes moves, or I will say spill over the area, then it will cause the flood. So this is basically the phenomena that is called as Glacial Lake Outburst Flood, or I can say if ice sediments become weak, it will result in sudden release of waters, called as GLOF or Glacial Lake Outburst Flood. ठीक है, this particular case study is not only about the GLOF, but it also exposed how we need to maintain a delicate balance between the development और ecological preservation, क्योंकि human interventions भी बहुत हुई थी यहाँ पे, that has resulted in this flood like incident. So हुआ क्या क्या है एक बार वो देख लेते हैं from the past. Data says that data of state मतलब Sikkim Disaster Management Authority has revealed some data, and their data says that near about 300 plus lakes in Sikkim are vulnerable to GLOF. Near about 300 lakes in Sikkim are vulnerable to GLOF, that is Glacial Lake Outburst Floods. ठीक है, दूसरी चीज मैंने दिखाया some of the faults, and faults means that this particular area is vulnerable to seismic activities, और लगातार earthquakes होते भी रहे हैं यहाँ पे. In 1991 there was an earthquake of magnitude 4.9. ठीक है, and again in 2011 there was another massive earthquake of magnitude 6.9. और just before one day, जब ये हुआ था 2023 में, just before one day there was a massive earthquake occurred in Nepal also. ठीक है, earthquakes यहाँ होते रहते हैं because this is a vulnerable zone, vulnerable seismic zones, multiple faults are there. मैंने 2-3 fault ही दिखाए हैं. Some of the minor faults are also here. ठीक है, so that's why this area is vulnerable to seismic activities. Or the earthquake in 1991, 2011 and the recent earthquake that was a 2023 में हुआ था ये, just one day before this GLOF event. So this earthquakes, these series of earthquakes have also, these series of earthquakes have destabilized the area or destabilized the sediments and ice around lakes. ठीक है, और State Disaster Management Authority has also given one more data. That data is that since 1991 the South Lonak Lake has increased in area by 1.5 times. Since 1991 से लेके अभी तक 23 तक का जो उन्होंने बताया. And they have also given that South Lonak Lake के north में भी एक lake है, that is called as North Lonak Lake, and North Lonak Lake have increased in area by 2.5 times. ठीक है, means these lakes are expanding. And why they are expanding? Because of some erosion that have been done by glaciers, and thereafter the waters of glaciers are melted and that water is feeding these glacial lakes. ठीक है, तो 2-3 इंसिडेंट हो गए that as the because of the global warming, you can write यहाँ पे global warming also, because of the global warming the size of these lakes are expanding and this zone is also vulnerable to the series of earthquakes, and the earthquakes have also played their role. उन्होंने भी कहीं ना कहीं destabilize किया है इसको. And however the major trigger point was the cloud burst. ठीक है, the major trigger point was cloud burst. यहाँ पे जब उस दिन earthquake के हुआ उसके immediate बाद when this event occurred, there was the occurrence of cloud burst here. Cloud burst क्या होता है? हाँ, सडन रेनफॉल बोल सकते हैं. और स्टैंडर्ड वर्ड्स में द डेफिनेशन ऑफ क्लाउड बर्स्ट इज दैट रेनफॉल मोर देन 10 सेंटीमीटर ओवर एन एरिया ऑफ 10 into 10 और 100 किलोमीटर स्क्वायर्स. ठीक है, इतने एरिया में जो स्टैंडर्ड डेफिनेशन है इसकी, दैट इज रेनफॉल ऑफ ग्रेटर देन 10 सेंटीमीटर ओवर एन एरिया ऑफ 100 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर. So this is the major trigger point, and as the cloud burst occurred, the entire water within the lake spilled over, and it started flowing aggressively in Lachenchu. Even the dam जो मैंने फिगर में दिखाया, the dam Changtang Dam was also broken. Changtang Dam was also broken because of very fast swift movement of water in the form of floods. और इसके बाद there was devastation. Other reasons भी वहां थे छोटे मोटे, बस उनका कोई डेटा नहीं हमारे पास. Like इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्डिंग चल रही थी in terms of टनल बिल्डिंग. ठीक है, टनल बिल्डिंग चल रही थी. डैम कंस्ट्रक्शन वाज गोइंग ऑन टीस्टा. माइनिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे थे. ठीक है, एंड यू नो रेकलेस टूरिज्म, वो भी एक कहीं ना कहीं वजह है ही. द रेकलेस टूरिज्म, अनरेगुलेटेड टूरिज्म. ठीक है, ऑल दीज फैक्टर्स हैव कंबाइंड टुगेदर एंड दे हैव ब्रॉट डिवास्टेशन, डिस्ट्रक्शन. और ओवरऑल 56 people killed and 79 people were missing. ठीक है, at a place that is Bardang, जो मैंने locate भी किया है. One army personnel also went missing. He was flown away by the strong gush of water. ठीक है, and the idea of how much water has been released out from the glacial lake, this can be gauged from the data that before this event have occurred, the area of lake with water was 160 hectares. ठीक है, 160 hectares of water in that lake. This is the area before the event. ठीक है, but after the event, the area of lake with water was reduced to 60 hectares. ठीक है, and experts are saying it has released, and there is a sudden release of 5 million cubic meters of water. This is the release of 5 million cubic meters of water. और इतना वाटर होना था तो ऑब्वियसली वो फ्लड ही है. ठीक है, so that's it, इतना ही है इसमें और कुछ नहीं है, लिख लो. ठीक है, केस स्टडी इज ओवर. सम डेटा इज देयर, सम फैक्ट्स मैंने बता दिए कि व्हाट हैज हैपेंड देयर एंड हाउ द ग्लॉफ दैट इज ग्लेशियल लेक आउटबर्स्ट फ्लड्स आकर. मेजर इवेंट्स जो है वो आपके यही हैं, दैट इज अर्थक्वेक इज डिस्टेबलाइजिंग इट ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, मल्टीपल अर्थक्वेक्स वर अकरिंग, प्लस आपका जो glaciers हैं that are melting, so their melting is also enhancing the size of lakes and more water is accumulating there, and the major trigger point was the cloud burst. ठीक है, so you can write this case study also in a cloud burst वाले क्वेश्चन में भी कि how cloud burst can bring destruction. Okay, that's it.